Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. It almost jerked the rod out of my hand. I'm not joking.
The Fishing Show with JT Kenny is brought to you by Florida Space Coast. Plan your next adventure at visitspacecoast.com. American Bait Works. B&W Trailer Hitches. Ardent Reels. Mercury. Go Boldly. Falcon Boats. Go Fish. Nichols Lures. Trocar. Greenway Plants reminds you to thank the farmer. Power Pole.
The Fishing Show with JT Kenny has a very special guest today. This guy, Brent Ehrler from California. FLW wins, I don't even know how many. I should have did some research before this, but I didn't count. Lots of Bassmaster Elite Series, and now MLF Angler. Dude, you and I have been buddies forever. We have spent a lot of time in a lot of campgrounds together, around a few campfires, drank a few beers together. Today is actually, if I can imagine right, this is the first time we're going to be in the boat together.
100%. And that's, actually, I reached out to you a while ago going, man, when we come down to Harris Chain, can we go fishing?
Well, yeah, let's go. Only we're going to drag some camera guys along. But absolutely. So, but now I know you've never been here. We're on Headwaters Lake today, but you've never been here to Headwaters, right?
Never have. No, never been here. Really, the big lakes are the only places I've been here.
The big tournament lakes. So what you might not realize is when you came down that dusty road, that road is steeped in Florida bass fishing tradition. At the end of this road is Stick Marsh. You know, everybody, that was like one of the biggest, most popular places to fish, but they don't have tournaments on it. So a lot of us guys, you know, that were professional touring pros, never really got to fish any of these places. But me living here in Palm Bay, you know, I've got to experience this, and now they've opened on August 10th of last year. They opened this lake, Headwaters Lake.
This lake is brand new.
It was impounded in 2013.
Okay.
And nobody could fish it. They let some kayaks on the upper end of it, but nobody could fish it. They literally stocked 1 million Florida strain bass in here. 4 different stockings of 250,000 bass.
I like it.
To say there's a few bass in this place would be an understatement. So with all that being said, hey man, you want to go catch some Florida bass?
Let's go. I'm ready.
Let's do it. Let's jump in the Falcon. Take off. For bass fishing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a water retention thing for St. John's River. They did all kinds of enhancements to it just for bass fishing. And there's all these deep holes in it, right? You know, one of the things about fishing here in Palm Bay, and specifically here on Headwaters Lake, is that still right now really bright lures work really well. Like you can see this topwater I'm throwing right here. You know, it's a whopper plopper. How it's the real bright white one. It just seems like right now, you know, this is a new lake. It hasn't even been open a year yet, you know, since when we're taping the show right here. So a lot of the brighter stuff seems to work better, where most of the lakes when you're fishing, you know, you're always trying to use like earth tones and things like that, you know, we're trying to trick the bass, right? Well, the fish here, they haven't been tricked yet, so they're not nearly as wise to it. So they just like the brighter colored stuff. You know, they're kind of like me, not very wise. No, I think I might have. I think I got him. Hang on! Everybody wait! I think it's what we're looking for. Thought it was alligator. It's not alligator. Oh gosh! It was what we were looking for. Went from an alligator to a bass. I'm so happy about that. Because if I had my hand in an alligator's mouth right now, it'd be no good. Look here, guys. We actually got a bass on the Nichols pulsator. How about that? Good way to start. Because the first one we actually started with wasn't quite this big, so we're gonna restart with this one. Ah! Whoa! Whoa! Ehrler strikes!
I didn't get him in yet.
Well, that's close enough.
So I got mine on a little swim jig.
Little swimmy.
As soon as it hit the water, look at that. First time I fished in Florida in 05.
Yep.
First tournament of the year for FLW. And remember it was the year where, what's that, monkey box? Everything was in the box, but everyone ran like you would leave Clewiston and run the rim job all the way up to
The rim job.
all the way up to what's the cut that runs right into the box?
7 mile cut.
7 Mile. We'd all run into 7 Mile. And everyone would run up there, and then once you got in there, then you'd start splitting off and people would run different places. And
Yep.
I distinctly remember that tournament. It was day one, and I caught a limit. And just like I said before, I'm like, all right, I got a limit, now let's go look for a big one. Then I go, I don't even know what to do to catch a big one. I was fishing around, and I picked up a heavyweight and started punching a little bit. And I punched this one little mat. Never had a bite. I move away from it. I'm casting a little worm in open water, and here comes JT. Like 10 minutes later, with an American flag bandana on your head.
Fucking Mexican thing, here he comes.
Pulls right up to the mat that I just punched. And like first flip catches like a 4-pounder. I'm like, gosh dang it. What the hell am I doing? I had like a 7-pound limit.
I looked right at you and I knew what you were doing wrong. No, I'm not being funny. I'm being dead serious.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And what
That's why I was like, I can fish behind him and I'll worry about it.
What was he doing?
I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm being honest. You had your trolling motor way out of the water, and every time you hit your trolling motor, it went.
Oh really? Interesting.
They knew you were there.
Huh.
Yep. Isn't that weird how I remember stuff from that long ago about each other? I'm just curious. I just said they're usually over there on that point. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm scared. If you're scared, say you're scared. I'm scared. Oh, I know. That's why I'm scared. That's totally why I'm scared. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Easy, sir. So small in the middle. Yeah, a little man, that's the thing. Sure. The rod out of my hand. All right, so I had to get out of the wind just for a little bit. The wind, guys, is gassing today, but we pulled in here just for a second, get a little drink of water and stuff. But while we're sitting here, I wanted to ask you about your career. Like, it obviously is pretty storied, but like when you started in FLW, then you went to the Bassmaster Elite Series, and now Major League Fishing. What was your thought process when you started in FLW? Did you think, like, I'm just trying this on a whim? Is this something that you always wanted to do? Were you aspiring to go from FLW to the Bassmaster Elite Series? Were you just thinking, I'm just going to fish FLW and see where it goes? Like when you went to Okeechobee in 2005, that was your first tournament, correct?
Yeah.
Like, what was your thought process? What were you thinking was going to happen?
You know, I originally decided to fish the tour just because I felt like if I never did, I would have always regretted it.
Right.
But I had no intentions of doing it full time.
Mm-hmm.
It was just something that I wanted to do.
Sure.
Because I knew, you know, later down the road, I'd be sitting at home, wife, kids, and man, what would have happened?
Right.
You know, I wonder what could have been.
Sure.
But even when I started fishing, I had no plans of doing it for a living. It was going to be a hobby or something I wanted to do, but didn't really plan on doing it for an actual living. So that was how I started. You know, I just was winging it the whole time. I mean, we talked today about going to Ouachita River that same year, and then I finished in 170 something out of 200 guys, and thought, what the hell am I doing? You know,
exactly.
Like thinking, I'm way out of my league. I need to go home and stop this now because this is stupid. Why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, to later on actually winning a tournament, being like, oh, well, maybe I should be here. You know, so it really didn't happen until 06 when I won the Cup. That was when I felt like things were going to change.
Sure.
But I mean, leading up to that tournament, I was excited just to be there.
Right.
To actually qualify for the Forrest Wood Cup. I never even thought that there was a possibility of me winning. It was just, I'm just so happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I won the tournament, and I was like, oh, this kind of changes things. And that's where it changed, was after 06. That's when it became more relevant in my life and future at that point.
So, but that was the mark, like winning the Forrest Wood Cup. That was the mark when you said, okay, this isn't a hobby anymore. This is the real deal. This is what I'm going to do.
I still didn't necessarily think I was going to do it, you know, be here today.
Right.
You know what? How many years later? 15 years later? Whatever. I don't know.
Remind either one of us, okay?
I didn't think that I would still be here right now. I thought that, hey, this changes things now.
Mm-hmm.
This is more of a legitimate. This is something I'm gonna be doing for a little while. But I still didn't know if I was gonna be doing it full time.
Well, obviously, we're all happy that you did, and I'm sure you are too.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just interesting that, you know, I get to talk to a lot of guys, you know, through what I do with Major League Fishing, and you know, of course, the Fishing Show with JT Kenny, you know, get to sit down with guys and talk a little bit, and it's, you know, and some of the candid conversations that happen after we film a show and we go get some chicken wings and a couple of cold beers, and but it's so interesting for me because like, I know myself, I always was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like,
and a lot of guys are like that.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys out here are.
But there's a lot of them that were like you too. And back in what I'll call our FLW days, when there was only 6 events, before the entry fees got real high, you actually could do that as a hobby.
You could.
So to speak.
Yes. Because we were fishing, January, February, and the Cup was always in July or August. So, you know, you're 6 months max.
Right. There was
over.
one tournament a month.
Correct.
For a few months at the beginning of the year.
Entry fees work for 3 weeks a month and still fish. Correct.
Yep.
And 100%.
Entry fees were like $1,800 when we started, instead of, you know, being real high or something like that.
I don't even remember what they were.
But it wasn't as expensive. Like, you actually could do it as a hobby. So it's interesting to see, like, you literally thought it was going to be your hobby, and you end up being one of the pillars of the sport. And some of the guys that you know are like, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Those are the guys that, you know, a lot of those, you know, unfortunately don't make it.
Yeah.
So, but it's just to me and my psyche, it's so interesting to just to see how everybody's like their career path just changes a little bit. I just think it's
different.
I
Yeah.
just think it's so cool. Well, speaking of so cool, we're on headwaters. We got us a little reprieve from the wind. Let's go back out and see if we can catch a couple more, because I know you have to go. You're going to fish the Major League Fishing tournament on Harris Chain.
Yep.
And so I know you want to get back, but Headwaters is calling our name. Let's go catch a few more before I
I'd
take
love
you back to the
This
ramp.
place is too fun.
It is. Everything down to that. Yeah.
Like that.
Uh-oh. I don't think he's big. Oh, maybe he is. Oh, that's it. Ooh, look at here, boys. Look at here, boys. Oh, he's big. Oh, yeah, he's big. He's really big. What are you doing?
I was not expecting that.
Oh, we got the bilge pumps on. Oh, boy. Look at there. Oh. I can't get him. I can't get him. Yeah, Headwaters. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it just fell out.
Oh, see, that's why you gotta have cat-like reflexes. Look at that beast, dude. Oh, that's a beast. Yes. Oh, spinnerbait fish.
It's a nice one on the old spinner plug.
All right, we had an awesome time with Brent today. You know, it was really cool. Him and I have been friends for, I hate to date us, but probably 15 years. Like you know, we've been buddies for a long time, and just never been in the boat together. You know, just we always fished against each other, never in the same boat. And to get to spend, you know, 2/3 of a day with him out here, and we caught a bunch of really nice fish. You know, just had an awesome time. But I want to show you guys just a little bit of the equipment we used today. This was the net bait salt lick. I got it on a Trocar 5/0 hook, just a standard HD worm hook. I think you guys know that's my absolute favorite. Ardent Apex Grand reel 7:3 to 1. You know, using soft plastics. I always like to use a higher gear ratio. You can even go to Ardent's Summit Hawk, and they make it 8 to 1 and 8.3 to 1 in that too. But my absolute favorite rod for throwing just any kind of worms, you know, this is a stick worm, just any kind of worms. The Halo's new HFX series. This is 7.6, medium heavy. I'm a tall guy, so I usually like a little bit longer rod. But most of the time, you know, that's what I'm using for throwing a worm. And then the old Nichols pulsator did some serious pulsating today and caught a lot of them. This is the black, blue, and purple with Nichols. It's a 1/2 ounce. That is one sexy little critter right there. And a lot of bass thought so today too. But nothing special about the spinnerbait itself, you know what I mean? Other than the color, you know, most people don't think to throw the dark colored spinnerbaits. Man, down here in Florida in the tannic water, absolutely phenomenal. 18-pound fluorocarbon, Ardent Apex Elite. It's a 6.5 to 1, so I don't overwind it, because sometimes I get all jacked up like little drummer boy and want to overwind it a little bit. So I keep myself paced by using a little bit slower reel. Also throwing it on a Halo HFX. This is a 7.3 medium heavy action. That's what I typically throw all my Nichols pulsator spinner baits on. That, and then, well, you know, it wouldn't be the fishing show with JT Kenny without a little appearance from old Scummy. Scummy came to the show again today and caught a great big one. Sloppy toad. This is the Scum Frog launch frog. I know you guys know all about this frog because I absolutely love this thing. But for those of you that might be new viewers, the Scum Frog launch frog has a tungsten weight transfer system in it that, hence the name launch. You can absolutely throw this thing a country mile. It's got a super soft body and giant hooks in it. I mean, big old hooks in it. So, and it's a big frog. It's a 3/4 ounce. It's a really big frog. Catches really big fish. So, old Scummy, you know, 65-pound braided line. Halo, we talked a little bit about it before, but the Halo HFX, this is 7.6 heavy action. But the thing with this HFX series, it's a heavy action, but it still has some tip, and it allows me to walk that scum frog, launch frog really easily. You know, most of the fish we caught on the frog today were not in the real thick mats. They were out in the open water, and you're kind of doing that walking back and forth deal. That Halo HFX, it allows you to be able to walk that frog really easy, and it allows me to be really accurate with my cast and be able to cast it really far. But it's got really heavy backbone, hence the heavy action of the rod. It's an absolute perfect frog rod. Also throwing this on the Ardent Apex Grand, and this is 7.3-1, and like I said, 65-pound braid. That is the setup for today's festivities. And we caught a few on some other things, but those were the three main things we caught them on. So what a fun day. It was great to have Brent in the boat, and just had an absolute blast. Really appreciate everybody watching, and maybe we'll catch a couple of more before the day's over. Oh, look at that.
Oh, jeez.
There's a big one on the, oh, Scummy strikes again, boys. I'm telling you, old Scummy.
Dude, that's a big one. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Scum Dog.
Oh my goodness. And things are gone.
Look at that.
Look at that frog in there. Oh my goodness.
Do you know why I like old Scummy? Because of that. I mean, he absolutely shellacked that thing. Oh God, we've had so much fun today. Look at that. I mean, we fished in pits, we fished in canals, we came back to this canal. I was like, I know I'm gonna catch a big one in that canal. Brent caught a big one earlier in this canal, and I was like, I know I'm gonna catch a big one in here.
Wide open. He was like 10 feet off the grass
Oh
line,
yeah,
too.
yeah. Did he come all the way across? I have no idea, who knows? But dude, what an awesome fish. Man, thanks so much for coming, dude. I always wanted to get you down here to Palm Bay, and it finally worked out.
It's been a treat.
You know, and we've caught some good ones today. But dude, ending the day on that, I just like every once in a while I make a good decision. I was like, I'm going back to that canal. I know I'm gonna catch a big one in that canal.
And pull the frog out and do that.
And it worked out.
Great.
Oh, Scummy, awesome. Brother, thanks for coming. Thanks for being on The Fishing Show with JT Kenny.
The Fishing Show with JT Kenny is brought to you by Florida Space Coast. Plan your next adventure at visitspacecoast.com. American Bait Works. B&W Trailer Hitches. Ardent Reels. Mercury. Go Boldly. Falcon Boats. Go Fish. Nichols Lures. Trocar. Greenway Plants reminds you to thank a farmer. Power Pole.